Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Scared Shitless. This is a horror retrospective, the horror podcast where we penetrate horror media like an arrow through the mouth of an unsuspecting maid. And that, for anyone interested, is a spoiler warning. This week, we are going to be looking at Ready or Not, the 2019 horror comedy, written by Guy Busick and R. Christopher Murphy, and directed by Matt and Tyler Gillett. Almost convinced that's how you pronounce his name, by the way. This film stars Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, Mark O'Brien, Melanie Scrofano, and Andy McDowell. It is the story of a bride's wedding night that takes a sinister turn when her new in-laws require her to take part in a long-standing family tradition and play a game. However, when she chooses hide and seek, things go badly for both her and them. I'm Ryan, and this week I am joined by Jamie.
Hello.
Ali.
Hello, guys.
And making his very first appearance on Scared Shitless, we have my younger and considerably less attractive brother, Kieran.
Hi.
So,
nice, snappy comeback. Yeah. Well done.
Well, there's no point disputing facts. Let's just keep it simple. Yeah.
So this movie opens quite nicely. A single shot I'm referring to here on a board game called LeBale's Gambit. I just thought that was very nice and thought worth mentioning considering what this actually is about. So this is the first film we've covered on Scared Shitless so far that is about the devil, essentially. This family's ancestor way back made a deal with someone called LeBale, who's clearly the devil, and as a result,
What gave you that impression?
What gave me the impression?
I'm confused. I don't know where you're picking this up from the film because that is not what I got from it.
You didn't get that at all. You didn't get that. So it might be in the Hail Satan that I picked it up from. They said that a few times throughout.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just them getting into the whole sort of, we're sacrificing someone thing.
I thought that was the one step too far. They just thought, fuck it, we're in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's just go for it.
Well, okay, Keaton, you're speaking. Well, in general, what did you think about this film?
This is one of the horror films that I really enjoy. I think it's lucky that it fits into that 90-minute sweet spot film. So it stays with you long enough to be fun and punchy. It's exciting and it happens, and then it's finished. It doesn't need to linger too long, which I feel some films these days can. So I feel that this hits the sweet spot for horror films. And the good thing with it is the cast is actually pretty fantastic. I mean, Andy McDowell as an actor is outstanding.
Andy McDowell always very good. She generally is.
I'm a big fan of Adam Brody. I thought Samara Weaving in this film is fantastic. I thought, the cast in general was very good for a fairly low budget horror film as well.
I think what's interesting with Samara Weaving is I did not know watching this that she was Australian.
She's from Home and Away. She's essentially Home and Away's Margot Robbie, so to speak.
Oh, I did not know she was Australian at all until I watched the behind the scenes stuff. And,
Some people can just absolutely nail accents, and not just that, but nail an accent while they're acting out a character, which makes it even more impressive. I can put on a random accent, but fuck trying to give me direction into how to act that accent.
On that note, Jamie, how about we go through the rest of the episode with you doing a random accent?
If we get to vote on the accent, I'd like to hear.
Do I get to pick the accent?
You can choose the accent. I'm all for that. Yeah. So, Ali, what was your thoughts on? What was your thoughts on this one?
My thoughts were not a nice day for a white wedding. Boom, boom. I really enjoyed that, Ryan. It's something thinking outside the box for us with this film. It started off not what I was expecting it to be. just obviously the opening part of the film, you see the kids running, you think it's going to be something else, and then you see what happens to the first groom, and you're like, oh shit, it's one of those kinds of films. Okay. And then we go from there, and overall opinion right away, I really enjoyed it. It's just really well done, well written. I'm not a huge Adam Brody fan, unfortunately. I know, how dare I? But no, I enjoyed him in this film.
Adam
overall,
Brody actually has he's quite big in horror films. I know. I know most people know him from the TV show that the OC. That's it. I couldn't remember if it was the OC or One Tree Hill. I knew it was one of the two, and I was stuck. But yeah, I know most people know him from that. But he's actually done a lot of horror films. Like he was in The Ring. He was in Jennifer's Body. He's actually got quite a large body of work in this genre. I think he's very good in this genre in general. I quite like him. I'm like Keaton. I quite enjoy his work.
I like him in this as well. I'm not a huge fan of his, unfortunately. I've always been that way. I mean, I first saw him in season 1 of Smallville, and ever since then, I was just like, I'm not too sure on him.
I totally forgot he was in Smallville
really
as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamie. Different question for you. Again, your horror experience, I'm going to bring this up like every episode we do, but your horror experience is very limited.
At some point we're going to just have to admit that I've watched enough horror films now. I'm now not a
you're no longer anymore. A novice,
but I think that's going to be sometime in 2023, so I'm fine with that.
You're still a novice at this point. This obviously is horror comedy, and it's very different from anything else that we've covered. So I mean, what do you think about it kind of, well, as a whole, but also in comparison to the rest of your experience with the genre?
So, like right from the start, I enjoyed it. I thought the characters were great, and that sort of theme just went on. I really enjoyed seeing all these higher aristocracy people just being absolute cunts. That was great.
I think that's the best word for it.
I thought it did a good balancing act of having a really nice premise, but make it, the comedy aspects were great as well, making it funny, but also when they were getting down to it, making some real tension in there as well. I thought it was really, they could have done this really badly, but I thought the balance of comedy and characters and just, I think it just worked on all the levels, really.
That is actually something where a lot of horror comedies struggle. They tend to often go too far one way or too far to the other, to the point where it doesn't quite work. And I do think this film actually done it really well.
And I think a lot of what made the film so good when it got into this, the sort of meat of it, was the actual locations they were filming in. The scenes were amazing. The costumes were amazing.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into all that. It really was very good.
Yeah, very similar to Away Manor. Sorry for interrupting, Jimmy. That's just the vibe I got from it.
Right, who had money on Ali bringing Batman up this far into it?
Sorry, I apologize.
Not me, but I had no idea. But I know the places they shot in were shot for other movies. I think part of it was shot in a place that was also X-Men.
Yeah, they used it for the X mansion. Yeah,
and there was another mansion and another famous thing, but I can't quite remember what it was. But no, I think that added a lot to it as well. And in terms of from what we've seen so far, it's very, very different in terms of the amount of comedy involved. But I don't know. I think a horror fan's still going to have a good time watching this.
Yes, Kieran. What did you think? I know you've seen it more than once now. You've seen it a few times. So can you remember the first time you watched it? When you were watching it, did you think the deal with the devil was real? I mean, like they mentioned throughout the movie, essentially, she draws this card, and because she chose hide and seek, they have to hunt her and kill her. She has to be sacrificed to Satan, and if she isn't, they're all going to die. And
those are the rules. Sorry.
Those are the rules. But yes, not all of the family believed it. Like at one point, the guy who married in is texting and he's like, might be bullshit. Like, they aren't actually sure whether it's real or not because the deal was made generations ago. Like everyone they know, it's just hearsay. They just do it. So, like, I thought that was an interesting element that they themselves maybe weren't entirely sure if it was real, which I think leaves the audience unsure if it's real. At least I think that's the idea. So Kieran, when you first watched it, did you before the finale, did you know it were, did you believe it was real? Did you think they were just mental?
Honestly, first time watching it, I can't remember. I do remember the scene where they all exploded at the end the first time I watched it in the cinema, dying. I was hilarious. But yeah, I don't remember if I believed it was real. You do get dropped hints when Alex is saying, if we didn't come and didn't draw the card, we both would have died. Happened to cousins. So there's definitely hinted that it's happened to family members who have disregarded it and didn't believe it.
Yeah, they straight up say the dad of the family at one point says, "Oh, do you think they just died in a house fire? It was reported as a fire, but he's like, trust me, it was worse than that." So he's definitely believed it. Yeah. But what about you, Ali? You hadn't seen this before, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
this was your
This was my virgin I was a virgin to this film. So I had to look up a little bit before I watched it and really, really enjoyed it.
Oh no, man! If you've got no idea what's coming, you just put the fucking movie on and watch it. No looking the stuff up before it.
No, I was meaning who starred in it. I get you.
I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't look anything up. But if I haven't seen a movie, I would rather go and watch it completely, without knowing anything about it. Because I'd rather be surprised by the film than even look. That's why I try and avoid trailers often. So not all the time, sometimes you just need to watch a trailer. Like, for example, I had to watch the new Scream trailer, and while we're at it, we have a video on the Scream trailer where we discuss it. Go check that out. And
it's fucking awesome.
Yes,
it's a great
video. What a video! It's available. That's going to be released before this, so go check that video out. Jamie, did you believe the devil? Did you? Let me rephrase that. Did you believe the deal with the devil was real in the movie?
I have no idea, man. I didn't really consider it. I just thought it was some weird plot device. I never really thought about the sort of backstory to it.
Fair.
I was just like, right, this is the plot. Like in Final Destination, I don't think too hard.
Yeah. Just tune.
If I was meant to, I apologize, but I didn't think it was that important to the enjoyment of the movie.
That's fine. So I would also, before we jump onto the kills.
But having said that, sorry, just whether or not it was the devil, I was taken by the fact that some people believed it and some people didn't, whether or not that was the devil or not. So I think I still got some of that out of it.
Yeah. Well, like I say, before we jump on to the kills, I just want to mention that I absolutely loved the fact, and a lot of the comedy came from the fact that these people are just terrible killers. Like, they are so bad at it.
I think you mean the sister is so bad at it. The rest of them are moderately okay.
One of them was looking at YouTube videos how to work a crossbow. He's supposed to be hunting someone.
I don't know about you guys, but the old woman with a massive fucking axe was the scariest.
The auntie, yeah. I mean, it was her. Yeah. It was her whose husband dies at the start. But right, that brings us perfectly into the kills. So this movie, there were 15 deaths in total.
Wow.
The first death, we have the groom, as you mentioned, Ali, at the start, which is 30 years before present day. And he is killed with an arrow to the chest, and then we do not see it, but he is taken away and sacrificed to Satan because he was unlucky enough to draw the hide and seek card. What did you think of this death? Anyone got any thoughts on this one in particular?
think it's a great opening to the film, especially because you see Daniel scream that he's in here. I thought that was a great moment.
Yeah, when
sort of
you
a
think
character
the kids will
redemption
help,
for where he was nicer later on. So yeah, I like that. But as a kill on its own, I don't think it's particularly memorable next to the other ones in this film.
I totally agree with that. Anyone think anything different?
I just remember being like, that kid's a dick.
I thought that too.
He knows they're going to hunt this person down. That's a sadistic little bastard right there. But I mean, yeah, that overshadowed the kill for me.
they do mention later when Daniel's brother Alex, who's the groom to Samara Weaving's character, he does mention that the reason he left the family is they're sacrificing goats and all this stuff to Satan on the regular, and he realized it was so completely abnormal. Like, other people weren't doing that, but the problem is it didn't feel abnormal. He said it felt like the most normal thing in the world, and he's like, and he realized you will buy into whatever bullshit your family tells you, and you just go along with it if if it's from such a young age. So it's it makes sense that Daniel would do that as a kid, and we see that actually later when one of Daniel's sister's kids, so one of his nephews, tries to shoot Grace.
Great scene. Great scene.
All right, well, moving on. So we have the next kill is the maid who is shot in the face out of nowhere.
What a shame.
I didn't see this kill coming the first time I saw it. I've got to say, it was like, what the fuck, and then it was completely out of the blue. It was very funny because they're not supposed to kill her instantly because she still needs to be sacrificed. And that was kind of the kill that let Grace know, holy shit, they're trying to kill me. So Jamie, what did you think of this one?
Wait, was that not was the maid kill? Is this the maid kill?
Yes.
The first maid kill.
Yeah, she's shot in the face with a gun.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It just reminded me a lot of, in that episode of South Park where Butters keeps shooting people in the dick.
Yes.
He doesn't mean to do it. He's just got no control over the way. I just got flashbacks to that. But a lot of the kills in this look great.
Yes.
I think that one looked very good. Yeah.
I think the best thing about this one was how sudden it was. What did you think about it, Ali?
Yeah, totally agree with that. It was just you saw them try to figure out how to use the weapon, and then all of a sudden, boom! You're like, oh, right, okay, she's dead then. So that sort of set up an inkling to me that this is going to be a thing in the film, that folk are going to get killed off that were meant to be killed off. And that is what happened, as we saw with the first maid and then the second maid. I think it was the second maid, or maybe the third maid.
The second maid, who we'll get onto right now, is killed with an arrow through the mouth, which doesn't actually kill her. She's left whimpering, and the aunt finishes her off with what can only be described as a bloody giant battle axe. Like, just such a large axe.
She kept like the aunt kept trying to speak, and she kept getting interrupted by the whimpers. I thought that was perfectly done. That was comedy at its finest. Just and she's just getting pissed off, and then boom with a big fuck off axe. Awesome.
Ethan, give me your thoughts on this one.
The second kill, I thought it was good because you've just seen the sister go back, get her gun, take loads of coke, wipe it off her mouth. She's realized she's left her gun again, and then her husband hands her the crossbow, and it instantly goes off in her hand and kills the maid.
The crossbow that he was watching YouTube videos on how to use, and decided it was too difficult for him. So, well, we then have yet another maid who is killed. When she tries to give Grace's position away, and she is crushed by the dumbwaiter. This kill, I would say, very much reminds me of the garage kill in the original Scream.
I thought that as well.
And the elevator kill.
And the elevator kill in Final Destination. Yes, it's there's a long storied history of people being killed in strange and interesting ways, thanks to that scene from Scream. We then have the Butler.
I think it goes back further than Scream. Let's be fair. Arnold Schwarzenegger did it to people in Total Recall, so we're going to give credit to kill fair, like that.
I mean, if you're actually going to go for it, he was crushed himself in Terminator by a press, and that's Terminator
1984.
1984. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to credit Arnie, at least credit the right movie.
Whoa! Are we saying Total Recall is not the right movie? Because it is.
I love Total Recall.
This is not the podcast.
That's a different genre for another time. So.
If you know any movie that has a kill preceding that, let us know in the comments, because I'd be very 100%. Interested to know about that.
Yeah, if you know a kill where someone is crushed by a door or a piece of machinery or something, and it happened before Terminator, let us know, please. Genuinely, let us know. So next, the Butler was killed in the car crash. Kieran, what did you think of that?
I like the fact that he's listening to classical music, and he's being all as like a conductor in the front of the car, and he's very happy with himself. And on the other side of the call, the entire family is like, "Turn the music off, you asshole!" And then he gets kicked in the face repeatedly. And I think that's the juxtaposition of it is very good.
Okay. Jamie, what's your thoughts on the car crash sequence?
I don't really remember it, man.
Fair enough. There you go.
Honestly, yeah. Don't just blanking.
It's. I thought the crash itself. We didn't see the car crash, which is a shame, because I personally, would have loved a wee bit extra stunt work. I know that's probably because they didn't have the budget to, flip a car repeatedly. But I do think they done, by putting the camera inside the car and showing it spin from that angle was a nice kind of workaround. But personally, I don't think that's ever going to substitute for actually flipping a real life car, because I'm a sucker for, practical effects and stunt work at the end of the day. Okay, we next have Daniel actually dies. Adam Brody's character, he's shot in the neck by his wife, and he bleeds out in his brother's arms, his brother is begging him not to die. Ali, what's your thoughts on that?
That was a sore one. It was a shame, because the way Adam Brody's character was sort of a two-sided coin in this film, I felt, and you just thought he knows what's going on, he understands it, but also at the same time is against it, and you thought that he was going to be there till the end of the film, and unfortunately he wasn't. Great death. Just a shame that he just wouldn't die right away. He kept lingering and lingering, and you're just like, oh, just end it now. Poor guy.
Kieran, you've been an Adam Brody fan. What did you think of this?
It was a great scene. Probably it's not the most enjoyable death of the film, but it's probably the most emotionally charged death of the film, because you've seen it points through the film. At the start, you saw he cared for his little brother Alex, so you saw that somewhere in him he had feelings for someone else. You saw that he told Grace before they got married, "You're too good for this family, get out," take it as a compliment, saying that he thought she didn't belong in his family. He told his wife she's not sold, like Grace hadn't sold her soul yet. He put hydrochloric acid and poisoned his whole family to break her free and stuff. So you could see that deep down he did have redeeming qualities.
And it was one of the few characters who actually had an arc. Like, we saw him as a little kid giving up the groom, and then as an adult he tries to save he tries to save his brother's wife. He does have an arc, and you see through the whole point. I mean, they mention he's an alcoholic, and you see him drink a lot, and you see he's genuinely torn up about all of this shit. He doesn't want to do it, and he doesn't like his own wife. He resents her for being part of it, and he resents the fact that when he told her about it, she signed up without blinking. She was all for it, and he was like, shit, I've made a bad decision. So I mean, really, we only see a couple of characters have an arc in the film. His arc's probably the most interesting. His brother Alex, we also see have a bit of an arc, who started from having left the family to, by the end of it, being completely committed and sacrificing his wife, to then instantly regretting that for the very last of his life. But Jamie, what did you think about Daniel's death, being shot in the neck?
Yeah, it was definitely pretty sad. He was the one that gave her like a head start. He didn't just kill her straight away, did he?
Yeah, he gave her a head start
together,
when he caught her in the room earlier. He said, I'll give you 10
yeah,
seconds.
I mean, yeah, he clearly didn't want to be a part of this, but I'm assuming he stuck around because of all the money, and he just resented it enough to not leave.
I think it's like his brother said earlier in the film, it's you kind of accept what you're raised in, and I think that's why he stuck around. I think it was his family. But okay,
let's all be fair as well.
Yeah,
it was a lot of money. I mean, I'd sacrifice all he used for that amount of fucking money.
They were fucking exorbitantly wealthy. That was
so. We then have
fuck you money.
Becky's death. Andy McDowell's character, who is quite brutally beat to death by Grace with LaBelle's box. I realise we haven't mentioned LaBelle's box until now, so if you think that is some form of innuendo, I'm just going to let it hang like that, and we're going to move past it. We then have the death of the entire Les Domas family, who are one by one blown up by LaBelle. They don't get to sacrifice Gail before the sun rises. Dawn happens, and they're like, nothing's happening. It's bullshit. And then they start to blow up quite graphically.
But not before the ant with the axe is like, I'm gonna kill her anyway. She was like, she was wanting a kill. You could just tell.
She 100% was after a kill. So and like she was charging her with this battle axe, and boom, splatters everywhere. So Jamie, what did you think of this? What were you expecting people to just start blowing up?
I was expecting them to maybe like drop dead or something to happen to them. Maybe there was going to be an explosion or a gas. I was just not expecting them to combust. And I was pissing myself laughing. I was like, after the shock in the first one, I was like, is this going to happen to all of them? And I was just having a laugh to myself, like, yeah, these cunts are getting their comeuppance now.
Well, the sister grabs her two kids, and they like run past the door, and then you just get like 3 explosions with blood splattering back into the room. It was.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Kieran, let's hear your thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great scene. It's when the dad picks up the box and starts pointing at the chair, and he's like, "I've done everything right, everything." Boom, and it explodes, and it's just Alex left. He's like, "I'm not like them. I'm good. You made me better. I mean, I did say hail Satan and about to stab you in the chest, only got you in the shoulder. I'm so much better than them." And he's pleading. Great scene.
Yeah. So everyone enjoyed
and
that.
her line, brilliant, was it like, I want a divorce, and then he just explodes.
Right, she throws the ring at him,
and then she was just covered in fucking blood.
She actually spit some out her mouth. Apparently she spoke to them, and she said, like, can I get any of that in my mouth? And they were like, oh, you don't need to worry. It's like not toxic. It's absolutely fine. And she's like, no, I want to spit some out. Like, I want it to go in and like have to spit. And they're like, this is going to be great. She's totally in for it. So
see, that's great when the directors are like, yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't come up with it, but fuck it, let's do it anyway.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
because it's a good idea. Yeah.
Right, Ali. Which was your favorite kill of the 15? Which one did you like the most?
Gonna say, I think the third maid was my favorite kill.
The one who died in the dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolute bitch. Yeah.
Okay, Jamie, which was your favorite kill?
I quite like the kill when the final girl was, attacking the other one with the box. That was pretty sweet.
When Grace beat Becky to death.
Yeah, quite. I was like, yeah, she's now at the point now where she's like, fuck you, I'm I'm in this now, and she was fighting for her life, and I quite liked that.
She really was. She was really getting into it.
Yeah, I just didn't stop. It was like boom, 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 and I was like, okay, that's cool. It just keeps going.
She kept shouting, "Fuck your fucking family!" Yeah, beating her to death. Fuck your fucking family.
It was as I said at the start. This movie, it's funny at times, and when it gets to the intense bits, it's
intense as well.
It's intense. It's really good. Yeah.
Kieran, which of the kills was your favorite?
Probably First Maid. But it's all the little things around it that I like the dad and the brother-in-law being like, oh, she was my favorite. It was all the little moments like that around it that I enjoyed more so than the actual kill.
Yeah, fair enough. Me personally, I would have to give it to Aunt Helen, who was the first one to blow up as she charged with the battle axe. Just because I remember the first time watching it being like, what the fuck? Like, okay, it is 100% this deal with the devil was a thing. It takes away any thoughts about it. And I think it was so graphic. And I mean, I do enjoy I also love the maid getting the arrow through the mouth. I think there was some really good stuff in it. And I do the first maid. I loved how sudden it was, like getting shot in the face, like, holy shit, just came out of the blue. So some good kills in general.
I also like the kill where, Aunt Helen with the axe. That was a close second for it, just because it was funny as well.
So
honorable mention.
I also absolutely loved in this film, one that we actually did get to see LaBelle very briefly in the flames as the house was burning down. It was only on screen for a second, but I thought that was pretty cool. And I loved the last line when, the fire brigade and everyone's arrived and she is just covered in blood in her ripped up wedding dress and she's smoking a cigarette and looks like death. And the fireman approaches her and he's like, what happened to you? And she takes a draw and goes, in-laws. I think such a good line to end the movie on. And then
sums up the movie really well.
Yeah. And then after that, we got a
funny
kick-ass cover of Elvis Presley's Love Me Tender, which was the second time that song had played, but it was only a punk rock song at the end. It wasn't a punk rock song earlier during the wedding, and I think it was really good. I think the soundtrack in general was good. So quickly moving on, because we're running out of time today. So Kieran, you're our new. So how many stabs out of 5 would you give us reasonably quickly?
That's probably 4. Just for the sheer enjoyment.
Ali, how many stabs would you give this film?
I'm going to agree with Kieran. I'll give it 4 stabs myself. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Jamie, same question.
I think I'm going to give it 4.5 because there is absolutely nothing wrong with it, and the balancing act is so well done. The characters, you love seeing them die because they're all dicks, and the girl gets away and it wraps up nicely. Yeah, I think it's really good.
Okay, I'm going to give it the lowest rate, and I'm going to give it 3.5. I still really enjoyed it. I just don't think it's quite a 4-star movie. I think it's pretty damn close. But yeah, But I think, to be fair, in part for me, that's because I prefer straight up horror to horror comedy. Although I still do very much enjoy this. Anyway, that's it from us this week. Come back and join us next week when it is Christmas. Christmas has in fact come real quick this year. In fact, to me, it still feels like October. Come back and join us and let us know what you thought about this movie in the comment section. Click the thumbs up and subscribe. If you want more content from Ali, you can find him over on his channel, link in the description. Link to Jamie's channels will also be in the description if you're after content from him. For more from myself, and I'm sure Kieran may appear again in the future, then check out more stuff from this channel. And like I say, comment, whatnot. And then next week, we're going to be covering a Christmas-themed horror, potentially Krampus. But that may change. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for joining us. And as always, we will be back for one last scare.